Picture, if you will, a 22-year-old woman, a single mother of a 1-year-old daughter, struggling to make it, living in the Bronx, my beloved Bronx, surviving thanks to subsidized housing and public assistance and the support of her family, afraid whether the lights were going to be cut off because you couldn't afford to pay the bill, diluting her daughter's formula so that it can last a little longer. A person desperate looking for a career, but lacking the knowledge, the guidance to find her own path. This was me in 1995, before I knew about non-traditional employment for women. I was in my apartment watching TV when a commercial for Honoree came on, talking about the path for non-traditional employment for women, jobs such as construction. I have always loved construction. I can remember stopping at job sites in the city streets and looking at the guys, it was always guys obviously, working with the jackhammers, building walls, climbing scaffolding. I found the job to be interesting. It wasn't like a regular job. So I see this commercial for Honoree, I run, I grab a pen and paper. By the time I came back, the commercial was gone. So I sat there in front of my TV and I waited. Sure enough, the commercial came back on, and I took the number, and I called immediately, and I signed up for the next class. At the time, I just had quit my job in retail, where I was working for below minimum wage. I realized then that I needed to get a job with a real future, a job that not only would pay livable wages, but also would have medical benefits for my daughter. I realized that I needed a career. I didn't know exactly where Honoree would take me, but I have faith in the organization, the people who work there, and the students. As I look at it, I made a good choice. For 3 months, I went through an intensive training program with Honoree. The rules were firm but fair, the expectations were great, but so were the opportunities for those willing to work for it. And I was more than willing to put in the work. Each day, I would leave my daughter with my mother or my sister. Always remember the new motto, that being early is considered on time, and being on time is considered late. I love that structure. I love learning about the trades. And I knew that I would be able to keep the promise that I had made to my little girl, a promise to be self-sufficient and to be able to care for us without outside help. Graduating from Honoree was a proud moment, but I realized that it wouldn't mean much if I didn't find a job. I knew they encouraged us to go to the unions and fill out applications and to go to the job sites and shape the jobs. I did both. Doing this led me to my first job as a flagger on a road project on Columbus Avenue. My pay in 1995 was below prevailing wage, which I didn't know at the time. But to me, I felt like I had hit the lottery. I was making way more than I was making at my retail job. I worked for a few months on this job, and as I got to know my coworkers, most of them union members, they encouraged me to join the union. One worker suggested that I check out Local 79 because they were accepting applications. The ironic part is that I almost didn't join. You see, when I walked up to the window to get my application, the lady up front told me that I have to pay a fee. And I wasn't sure that I wanted to give her the last few dollars that I have in my pocket. And it was one of those seconds where, should I, shouldn't I? Thank God that my ambition went out. And I paid the money, and this led to the call. And I was like, wow, 1 week later, they're calling me, going to work. Well, not quite yet. I was asked to go to the office on 37th Street and First Avenue, where we would meet to go to a picket line. When I got there, they asked me if I could help them calling contractors and calling members to come to the picket line, and so I did. When I walked into the room, there were more than 100 people there, and I was the only woman in there. As a matter of fact, some of the guys thought that I was lost, and they were trying to tell me to go. It was 2 doors down where I needed to go. But from the very first day that I got there, I was hooked. I loved the demonstrations, I loved the rallies, the pickets, and I loved to hear the stories of all those other workers who were in the same boat that I was. This went on for about 6 weeks. The only compensation that I got at that time was 2 tokens. Remember them? One to go home and one to come back the next day. Like when I registered for Honoree, I didn't know where the labors would take me, but I had faith and I had the desire to work. Again, I made the right choice. I won't go through every job that I worked, but my first job was doing demolition in Manhattan. I basically watched what the other workers were doing, and I quickly followed their lead. The beginning was a bit rough for me, but once the guys saw me working, they saw that I was there to produce just like them, they accepted me as part of the group. Being a woman in a male-dominated field sometimes means that you need to work extra hard to produce more, to be accepted and respected, and that's exactly what I did. Well, I knew that I didn't want to be the weak link in my team, not because of my gender, which I never considered to be a weakness, but because of my inexperience. While working one day, a local 79 business agent came to the job and asked for the shop steward. Well, when nobody answered, he said, well, then you are the temporary shop steward. A few weeks after that, I went into the training center and I took the class and I became a certified shop steward. From then on, I took advantage of all the classes the training center had to offer. I took a new class, a class that was named Voice, which is an organizing class that would eventually change my career. Several months before, I had a terrible job in retail with no future, a journey through new, a month and a half of volunteer organizing, and a few weeks learning the ropes and taking full advantage of the class at the training center, and I was already on my way to fulfilling that promise that I made to my little girl. What I have learned through this is that the greatest gift I have received was not the opportunity to grow once I was fully prepared for advancement, but the chance to succeed or fail on my own, all while learning on the way. For the past 12 years, I have been working as an organizer for Leroy, out in the streets, talking with workers, promoting the idea that workers should be treated with dignity and respect, and they should be paid fairly for their labor. 16 years after starting with new, I am now creating opportunities for others, just like they have been created for me. The union brought me into the middle class. And I know that if we want to preserve the middle class in America, workers need to make livable wages and benefits. This is why it is my passion to help others have the same shot at reaching the American dream, the middle class, just like I did. Now I am an organizing coordinator and a deputy supervisor for the laborers. My life today is a little hectic. I'm at work by 5:15 a.m., dispatching workers, taking phone calls from contractors, talking to workers, sending organizers out, giving them their assignments. It seems like the work never stops, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I truly, truly love my job. I have continued to grow as a laborer, as a union member, as a person, but I have a lot of support along the way. Support from people such as Laguna Vice President and Eastern Regional Manager Raymond Pochino, who has seen in me the leadership and given me assignments to go out there and do this type of work that no other female had had in the past. My team members, past and present, some of whom are here, Henry, Hector, Mancini, all of you guys, thank you for your support. The Laborers Union, Local 79, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Local 79. My family, my sister who's here with me, thank you for your support. And for me, my mentor, I believe in mentor. I believe that we need to have somebody who guides us. And for me, that person has been Dave Johnson, who has helped me out, who has supported me, who has guided me throughout my career. And so I thank you, Dave, for everything you've done for me. And of course, New, because let's face it, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for New. I would also like to take a minute to thank two very important people in my life. Some people have one best friend. I have two. My best friend, my motivation, the force that pushes me to do my very best every day, that pushes me to lead by example. My daughters, Diana and Daniela, who are in the room. Thank you for understanding that my job will take me away from you for many, many hours, for many, many weekends. Thank you for everything you do for me. It is my privilege to call you my daughters. Thank you. Before I was 23 and a single mom, I was 22, pregnant, and living at the Durst Street Women's Shelter. This is a homeless shelter. Today, I own my own house. Nothing fancy, but it is my house. This is a house that I make a home with my daughters. Now I can afford to provide for the two of them. I don't worry about the lights being shut off. I don't have to worry about those things. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is because I want you to understand how far I really come. And I hope that others have the same opportunities that I had through NEW, the laborers, and other organizations. You see, the way I see things, NEW showed me a door that I never knew existed, a door of opportunities. Not only did they show me that door, they unlocked the doors for me. The laborers opened the doors, and I just pushed through and marched right in. And here I am today. My name is Taveras. I am a mother, I am a worker, I am a very proud member of Laborers Local 79, and as I stand before you, I hope you see that my success would have been impossible without NEW, and that I am a representation of what NEW stands for. I am NEW. Thank you, everybody.